All over my social sites, all over the internet, all over Fox News and other networks, I keep hearing that Rick Santorum said he would vote for Obama over Romney, and I thought to myself, geez, I've known this man many years. I know that can't be true, and I listened to the audio. It's not exactly what he said. And then on the other hand, I keep hearing the Etch-a-Sketch stuff. Oh, don't worry about that. That's just an advisor that's been with Romney. So, Rick Santorum, I wanted to ask you specifically, not a long interview, first of all, very specifically, if Romney's the nominee, would you vote for Romney?
Yes.
Yes, one word, one syllable word. The word was yes, I think I heard.
And I've said that in every interview for the entire course of this entire
Hold on
campaign.
now, I got another question. If you're the nominee, would Romney vote for you?
I hope so.
Has anybody asked him?
It's interesting. I start out, as you know, Mark, I start almost every one of my speeches saying this is the most important election, maybe in the history of our country, certainly since the election for 1860. I think freedom is at stake. I make that the theme of everyone. Why? Because we have to defeat Barack Obama. I was making the point yesterday, as I make in every speech, that to defeat him, we need someone who has a sharp contrast with him, not someone who is just a little better on some issues and actually not better on other issues, or at least as bad as Obama is on some of those issues. And that's the point I was making. I make it all the time, and it's really pathetic that anyone would take someone who's been out here working as hard as I have to try to defeat Barack Obama and has committed myself to the cause of defeating him and making sure that freedom is restored, that somehow or another I would at any time consider at any point voting for Barack Obama. I would not.
All right, so I think that's been cleared up. So all these websites may want to take the audio of the program. Some of my buddies at Fox may want to take the audio of this program. My first question to you, and you've elaborated on it, was would you vote for Romney if he's the nominee? And the answer is yes.
I'd vote for Romney. I'd vote for Gingrich. I'd vote for Ron Paul over Barack Obama. I mean, he has to be replaced. Obamacare needs to be repealed as the central issue in this race. And my concern is that Mitt Romney is uniquely disqualified in taking on Barack Obama on the biggest issue, which is the destruction that the Obamacare bill is doing to our economy, will do to our economy, and will do to our foundational freedoms.
All right. Now, you're campaigning, I take it, in Louisiana, or am I wrong?
I am. I was in Natchitoches. You ever been to Natchitoches?
Congratulations. No, I haven't.
It's a beautiful little town. It really
I've
is.
never been anywhere, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I know better than that. You're the great one. You've been to all the great places.
Oh, sure. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I would love to ask this of Romney, but he won't come on. Ron Paul won't come on. Newt comes on when he's actually running in a particular state or something. I would ask him to. Isn't this exhausting? Putting aside the politics of it all. I mean, going to every town, shaking hands, having to explain yourself. Don't you get worn out from all this?
No, I'll tell you, I just came from Natchitoches and I just in Monroe earlier in the day, and in Shreveport. I'm heading down to Pineville and going to yet this evening. I'm going to Alexandria, and I tell you, I'm energized. The only stuff that wears you down is when you see this petty politics, and it's. I'm in this race because big things are at stake. We've got really fundamental issues, and the media just wants to, and the Romney campaign just wants to pick and play word games and try to distort and twist, and that's what I think a lot of folks in this country are just tired of. Let's talk about.
But Senator, you have to give them credit, because when they put out those talking points, boy, I get them right from my callers here on my social sites, and you get them. Ann Coulter's writing them,
last week Romney said I was an economic lightweight, and why would we want to replace one economic lightweight with another? Now, I could have gone out and said, "Oh, Mitt Romney's saying don't vote for Rick Santorum. I mean, vote for Barack Obama over Rick Santorum," but I didn't say that. Because I know Mitt Romney's, wants to. Mitt Romney knows I want to replace Barack Obama. He knows that I'm going to vote for him. I've said it to him. I've said it publicly 1,000,000 times. That's not the point. The point is, what can we do to spin? What can we do to sort of distort and try to create problems instead of what can we do to try to really lift this debate up And the biggest complaints coming about this campaign going on are from the Romney people, and they're saying, oh, this is a negative campaign and we got to stop. And yeah.
Hold on now, Senator. What they're saying now, and they're saying it to me too, if we don't stop right now, then if Romney loses, it's all of our faults. And by the way, 60%.
Romney's going to lose tomorrow in Louisiana.
But I mean, if he were the nominee, they're saying, just listen to how this is being framed. If he's the nominee and if he loses, it's the fault of everybody who's challenging him.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show you that they believe they are entitled to this, that they were the favorite, and everybody else should step aside. And conservatives realize that the etch-a-sets candidate, someone who is going to hit the reset button and stick it to conservatives after this nomination process is over, if he's successful, people know it. They had a rare.
Now hold on now. They
yesterday.
say that etch-a-sketch thing isn't fair.
They asked his lead consultant whether Governor Romney was being pushed too far to the right, and he said, "We'll hit the reset button after the primary." Now, I don't know how you can more directly be asked a question about what you're going to campaign on. And Governor Romney responded by saying, not by saying I'm a conservative and that's what I'll be. He said I'll run as a conservative. That doesn't mean anything to me. That someone's going to go out there and say what needs to be said.
Now hold on now. I just read my buddy Larry Kudlow, and my buddy Larry Kudlow said that Romney is Reagan-esque.
Well,
that's what he said. He said, "Look, he's Reagan-esque. Come on, everybody, back off now. Let's get this thing cleared."
Reagan
How do you respond to that?
Reagan would never have imposed a government-run, mandated health care system on anybody, much less as governor. He wouldn't have bought into the phoniness of cap and trade and trying to control people's energy consumption and say the gas prices should be high and we have to get used to them, and bailing out Wall Street with government funds and being on one side of the abortion issue and the other, and the long list. I don't know if you reported this about Puerto Rico, where Governor Romney went down after I stood up and said, yes, Puerto Ricans should learn English and be taught in the schools as a condition for statehood. And 2 days later, he went down to Puerto Rico after campaigning in this country that English should be the official language of the country, and said, no, Puerto Ricans don't have to speak English in order to be admitted to the Union, which is exactly, by the way, what the Puerto Ricans wanted to hear. He ended up getting 20 delegates as a result, but it shows you the kind of etch-a-sketch candidate he is. He'll say whatever he needs to say.
Can I just say there was a fellow in the Daily Caller who wrote a piece, and he said every territory that he's aware of, before they could become part of the Union, they had to adopt English as the official language, as the primary language. So why would we change that now? But anyway, I don't want to rediscuss it. Isn't your real point, as I understand it, look, this Romney Care defines who we are in this nation constitutionally, the relationship between the individual and the government, the citizen, liberty, and Obamacare does. And the problem is you're arguing and claiming he's in the weakest position to take it down. Is that your basic point?
He's the weakest position to make the argument against Barack Obama that will be the defining issue in this election about what this economy should look like, what our freedom should look like, and what the role of government is in our lives. That is the essence of the 2010 election. As you know, Mark, rallied people because of the opposition to the government takeover of the healthcare system. 75% of Americans oppose Obamacare. They oppose the federal government forcing you to buy insurance. And Mitt Romney supported it as governor of Massachusetts, and he advocated for it when Obamacare was being debated. This is a man who's uniquely disqualified on the biggest issue of the day, and they're trying to shove him down everybody's throat, and that's why you're seeing Louisiana's going to vote, I think, very strongly for us tomorrow, and you're going to see other conservatives continue to rally to say we cannot have someone who doesn't reflect our values, who gives away the biggest issue in this race on the economy, and put him up against an incumbent president. You know, Mark, for the last 100 years, there's only been one Republican to defeat a Democratic incumbent president, and that was Ronald Reagan, and that's because he gave people a choice. We don't have a choice on the most important issue when it comes to Governor Romney and health care.
All right, Senator Santorum, your website is ricksantorum.com. And just so you know and everybody knows, we have an open microphone here to Mitt Romney. Senator, do you ever cross his path, honestly? Do you ever see him on the campaign trail?
Now, the only time I ever see Governor Romney is at debates or forums, but no, we don't cross paths, and
we cannot. I cannot get him on this program.
Well, look, here's the difference, Mark. I go out and I don't use a teleprompter. I don't give 6-minute talks. I go out and I talk for 40 minutes, 45 minutes sometimes. I take questions, and again, I don't have a speechwriter or a pollster. And sometimes I can say things maybe just a little clearer, but if there's any ambiguity, this is where you just love who says, "Oh, we like candidates to be forthright and talk to us and not read off what their handlers tell them to say." And then when you do that and you say something that could be maybe taken out of context, instead of clarifying it, no, they just go and rip you on it. And this is why you get these handled, managed candidates in America, because what happens is that when you're out there talking hours on a day, of course you're going to say things could be clearer than other times, and that's the gotcha politics of Governor Romney, and that to me is I think one of the weaknesses of him, and I think one of the reasons we're doing as well as we are is that
Senator,
people know I want to defeat Barack Obama, and they know that this is a made-up story and it's not going to stick.
All right, so we've made it as clear as we can that if Romney's the nominee, you intend to vote for him. If Newt's the nominee, you intend to vote for him.
I'll work as hard as anybody for him.
You'll campaign for him.
We'll do our best to get him elected.
All right. Now, we would like Mr. Romney to come on the program, Governor Romney, so I could ask him if you're the nominee, if he'll vote for you and campaign for you. All right, Rick Santorum, you take care, sir.
My pleasure, the great one. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very frustrated. No, not because of that. I am very frustrated that Governor Romney won't come on the program. Well, Mark, you've been very harsh on him. I was very harsh on Newt. But Newt comes on the program when he wants to. As I say, we don't reach out. They reach out to us. Every single time, Mr. Producer, what does that nice young lady write you when it comes to Romney? Open the mic. Did you say that on air?
She basically says, "Sorry, we can't. We're too busy right now.
We have conflicts. We apologize. Maybe next time, right?"
Exactly. The next time never comes.
And then he shows up on CNN, Airport Radar, sonograms, you name it. It's okay. I get it. He doesn't want to talk to me. Okay, fine. But I do have some questions, and I would ask them in an extremely polite way, as I did with Newt.